Boy, look at that, right there, an old York compressor. That motor ain't never been apart, bro.
You have to have a lot of money to rebuild an entire vehicle.
Don't overlook things that are needed, but don't sell things that aren't. Fix that car like you're working for your money. Okay, Caleb, go ahead. What do you got, buddy?
They sent me a few pictures, and I'm like, dang, dude, this is pretty decent. We got it running, but we found out about this motor that was in his shop so that he could eventually put it in this Bronco. So what would it cost to be able to do this motor swap?
Year, make, and model of the Bronco?
78.
78 Bronco. I'm assuming it's got a 351 in it?
I'll assume with you, yes.
Okay.
I was telling him, let me talk with my local motor expert and see if this would be something that we would want to just look at and say, hey, Caleb, this is what I'm seeing.
You could drop it over here. I could take a look at it real quick to find it. I mean, it might run like shit, dude, because it's just got burned up plug wires or, just need a little TLC.
Yep. Okay. He texted me back and said he believes it's a 351 Windsor.
Yeah. Pretty common motor. I mean, So you can bring it over here. Text me before you come over. I'll be ready for you.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Did you see my landscaping?
Yeah, it looks good, man. It is landscaping instead. It was McLaren or landscaping. So, I mean, as you can see, it's been weathered. It's weathered the storm a few times. It's had critters living in it. It's been rough, but it's their dad's Bronco, so there's a lot of sentimental value to it.
He's passed away.
He passed away.
Now, the initial pictures that we received, because they're like, I don't know, maybe we try to restore this and do an auction, right? Auction's off the table, guys. We're not going to be able to do that for rust reasons and a bunch of other reasons. Okay, well, what about motor swapping? What about all this stuff? Right now, where they're thinking, Dave, is...
I love that trailer. Let's talk about that.
Trailer's nice,
Drawbacks?
right?
That is a nice freaking trailer.
It's one of the best.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice trailer.
That's...
Who's the company?
Rawmax. It's seriously some of the best trailers I've ever used. Yeah, we like it a lot.
Good for you.
The Bronco would probably look better if you wouldn't have shown up with it on such a nice trailer.
Hey!
Right? Serving an old crusty hot dog on top of a silver platter.
I get it. We've already let them know, whatever money you put in this, you're not getting back on resale.
Well, that's an honest assessment.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a resto mod or something like this. This is emotional. This is emotional. You're never going to get, people say, well, do you think I can spend the money and get it fixed up and No. Yeah. You're never going to get your money out of this thing.
But you'll get your memories.
Give your honest assessment, okay? I didn't come here for you to sugarcoat anything.
Okay.
I want a little bit of sugarcoat.
I'll give you sugarcoat. I'm totally into the red shag carpet.
Yeah, there we go.
The carpeting brings back memories. When I was 20, I was living in a trailer down by the river. Boy, look at that, right there, an old York compressor. Now this is when you're thinking, a lot of you old guys will know what I'm talking about, but you can take these caps off, and so if you had to take the compressor off to pull the motor, you can shut this valve right here, and it's got one on, this is the low side, this is the high side. You can take these off and shut these valves, and then crack that, and you don't have to evacuate and recharge your system. Well, my assessment is it's all here. I mean, I think it's OE.
That's NOS.
That's NOS. That's how you go fast button right there.
Yeah?
No.
That's where you recharge it at.
I think that's why we're here.
It looks
we
like
hooked up the NOS to the refrigeration.
It looks like some animal's been living up in here.
Yeah, got a couple critters in there.
Yeah, which is about normal. Does the wiring harness has been chewed through? Because I don't see that, which is good. Because usually when you get animals up in here, they start chewing through that. But I don't see that.
This is original. Okay. Dave and I got this thing moving and whatnot so we could at least get it up here. Dave ripped some donuts on it. We know that we...
Oh, it does start and run?
Yeah, it starts and runs.
Well, then why don't we just get it up and running?
If it's already starting and running and your current assessment of what you're seeing here, what are you thinking that you would do with this vehicle? Hey, just do oil change, like new filters, all this stuff, make sure the wiring's good, new hoses, and then let it go.
Yeah.
For sitting in the elements for 10 years, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I mean, an old copper radiator, and I don't see any leaks coming out of it. And you run the motor for an hour or something, and if it doesn't, the gaskets and seals don't start spewing. Heck, I can see the accelerator pumps leaking.
Yeah.
Which, you know, so the carb's probably going to need to be rebuilt so we don't have a fire.
Okay.
Because we got fuel leaking out of that.
We tried our best to get it started on fire, but it didn't work.
I mean, it's all here, so let's just get it up and running for him. I don't know what it's going to need.
Okay.
Rebuild the carb.
That for sure. And let me see if the throttle shafts are wore out, if it's even worth rebuilding. Just the throttle shafts wore out. In fact, you can see the fuel coming.
Yeah.
See how that's wet there?
Yep.
But this is what the problem is on any carb. If I could teach people anything, there's 4 circuits on a carb. On this carb, there's only 3 because you don't have secondaries. This is a 2-barrel. You have your idle circuit,
Okay.
which is when it's on idle, choke's completely open. When it's on idle, you look down a carb, you don't want to see any fuel. If you see fuel dripping, you got a problem.
Yeah.
So if you got a car running and you look down at Venturis and you don't see any fuel, your idle circuit's good. Then you have an accelerator pump circuit, and that's when you go whoop, 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 and you get
You'll see fuel
that's
going.
the second circuit. And then you have your primary circuit, and the primary circuit as soon as you come off idle. Then you should have gas coming through the Venturis. Those are the 3 circuits. And then if you had a 4-barrel, the 4th circuit, which would be secondaries, and then the secondaries open. But the problem here is this throttle shaft is just wore out, and so you'd have to either bushing it, get a new base plate, or so you'd get another carburetor. That carburetor, you can't rebuild it.
No.
Okay.
All your airflow has to come through here. If you have any vacuum leaks at the base plate, the throttle shaft plate, or intake manifold gasket,
You're pulling air from anywhere else.
you're never going to get a carb set right.
Okay.
It's just you're just
Yep.
beating your head. It just won't run right. And then the other thing I'd worry about on something like this is stretch timing chains. If it's got good compression, then I'm going to pop the distributor cap off, put a breaker bar on the crankshaft, and I'm going to rock that back and forth at the crank. And that's going to tell me how much slack I have in the timing chain. If you got all that slack in the timing chain, your ignition timing is never going to be right because your cam timing is retarded because of the slack in the timing chain. It's like a motorcycle. You do that all day long on a motorcycle, and your chain's off. We'd want to put a timing chain in it, get a carb on it. This thing would run like a brand new.
So if we were to just get this thing running again, it's good to go. Just go cruise in the mountains, have fun, beat this thing up, make some memories. You're not going to worry about it getting dented, right?
Right.
Okay.
If they just wanted to have memories in it, because you're never going to fix the body on this thing. It's not worth it. I don't know the market, but I don't think are they sought after. People ask me all the time, what do you think it's worth? And I'll tell people flat out, I have no freaking idea. I'm just fixing motors in here.
So one of the most common things, Diesel, that we get in our build requests email, and
Motor
I'm sure
swaps.
you get it, motor swaps. I want to motor swap
Mostly-
this. I want to motor swap that. I want to motor.
Diesel swap my Ranger.
Yeah,
Those are my
Diesel
favorite.
swap my Ranger.
Somebody
That's
called me
good.
the other day about a Volkswagen.
Yeah, man.
D, can I put a Cummins in my Volkswagen?
Yeah, why not?
And you said yes, right?
Well, I said, I can do anything.
You can put a saddle on that Cummins and ride it around.
I can
I'll do
anything.
anything you want, but what's your budget? What is something that you say to people to like, hey, if you want a motor swap, you gotta do X, Y, Z.
Can we do any motor swap? And let's call it powertrain, because then you got to hook up the motor to your gearbox or transmission.
Yeah.
So you got to have that too. That's the conversation.
Yep.
You got to say, okay, that motor might not even bolt up to your power distribution, your transmission.
Yeah.
So now now we got that to deal with. Exhaust, mounting hardware, so fabrication's involved. You got fuel system. Are we going to keep carburetor? We're going to go fuel injection. If the car came with carburation, then you got fuel tank, return lines, electronics,
Yeah.
wiring harnesses. I mean, there's a lot involved.
Yeah. You have to look at all that space. Where am I mounting it? Can I mount it there? Can I do that? And then I do need to get a new transmission. So can the transmission even fit between the 2 seats going back that way? Otherwise, I've got to fabricate something else. I got to mold the body completely.
Have I put LSs in things? Yeah, we'll put an LS in old muscle cars. There's a lot of internet stuff on that. So that's the first thing that I tell a customer is, the internet's a great, you guys aren't old enough. Back in the day, gosh, dude, you just had to figure it out.
Britannica, or what was your encyclopedia?
Yeah, Britannica, dude. It's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to do a powertrain swap. But, really, what does that cost? Let's be serious. you're 50 grand like that.
So LS.
Thank you for saying
LS
that.
swap this.
When we do a unique motor swap, it's something that we've never done before. So there's a lot of time for research, fitment, pulling the engine out and in multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of R&D.
yeah, a lot of R&D. Sometimes customers get upset because they're like, well, you should know how to do this. You're a mechanic.
Every manufacturer says bolt in, you know, like it'll bolt in.
Oh, on the aftermarket?
Okay.
Universal?
It'll bolt in every car except the one I happen to be working on. So anyway,
You said motor swap, you're minimum 50,000. Now let's talk about what you're wanting to do. Right now we're talking with the guy and his build's going to be over 300,000. He's wanting to do this giant motor swap, and I'm like, listen, all these people rejected you for a reason. You have to have a lot of money to rebuild an entire vehicle. You're asking me to put a shell of something onto a very custom vehicle, so that's what we'll do for you. But you are very high budget, and so let's see if you actually are worthwhile on that end. Now this family, obviously there's a lot of emotion and stuff. Hey, we want to do what's best and within budget. They've got budget to do a lot of stuff, but let's not waste money. Let's do smart decisions and see what it is. One of the old friends came out of the woodwork. He's like, hey, what are you going to do with that motor that's in the shop? We're like, we don't have that much information on it.
is that this one here?
That's this one right here. And the friend that was talking to him said, well, it came out of this other vehicle and it was able to lift the front wheels off the ground. Vin Diesel this thing, okay? Menage, if you will. They were talking with a friend. He said, hey, this is a 700 horsepower engine. He said, well, you need to send me pictures of it. You need to send me all that. I think from the get-go, when we all saw the pictures, we're not there. Tell me what you know about this. Just looking at it, why would it not be a 700 horsepower engine?
Let me say this. A 351 Windsor can produce, the bottom end can handle that. But the heads can't. The heads, those heads will never flow enough air. I think it's probably stock. This motor is probably somewhere, I mean, the internet will tell you, what was it, about 1 horsepower per cubic inch? I mean, it's probably come out of the factory, 350 horsepower. So if you're gonna double that, you know, that's compression and airflow. I mean, it's simple math. And the math ain't happening here. That's it, man.
Yeah, so this thing has asthma right now. It's not getting 700 horsepower.
And you would never, I mean, people all the time want to bring me an old car and they want to, you know, like with a 350 Chevy in it, you know, an old Vortec motor, 1-piece rear main. I want to build that motor and, you know, 700 horsepower, whatever. And I'm like, nah, not doing it. Let's just LS the package. Everything's available, you know, and I tell them how much it costs and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And where if you build something like this for that, the durability, the technology just wasn't, it's not there.
Like even with it having 350 horsepower, if this was redone, it just wouldn't make sense to be able to, hey, I want to put this in there, right?
That motor ain't never been apart, bro.
No, it really looks like...
Yeah, it's original stuff.
Yeah,
so,
just looking at the seals right there and everything, it looks like it's...
I mean, the intake is, it's still got the original factory, the blue.
Yeah,
this
is
thing,
a stock engine.
Yeah, this is a stock engine, man. So I think somebody was...
I think somebody saw a truck do a wheelie, go to the shop, and then there was an engine, and they don't know if that engine came out of that truck or not.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, the car will do wheelies. Please. How much money do they want to spend getting this thing up and running?
Initially, they're really close to 6 figures to be able to do a whole lot.
Get the freak out of here.
Initially, you're not going to an auction. You're not going to be doing this stuff. Let's not go overboard with your budget, right? It's how much do we want to spend on those memories right now?
That I did, gosh, that's been 30 years ago.
Was this one in rough shape or was it already pretty nice?
I bought that, I still have the title on it, and I won't title the car. I bought it from a guy, and it says Route 66 on the title.
Really?
Give it to me, bro.
I love that. I love that. That's great.
Your question was?
It's the used motors, right? Because buying a brand new crate motor can be expensive and everything, and when people are starting to look at rebuilding things and everything, everyone's always wanting to like stay within their budget, do all that stuff, so they find like, oh, I found this used motor, it's really good. All I gotta do is maybe get it machined a little bit, test it out, see if it works, or these guys have told me it's a really good motor. Can you just swap it in? We've made a mistake a few times where we don't have all the diagnostics you do and whatnot. It's we've taken the customer's word for it. Like, hey, if you know the history of the motor, you want to do that, we'll swap this for you. Then we get calls several months down the road like, this went bad, this went bad, this blew up.
That's very common.
I'm out of I'm out of luck. So
let's back it up even more than that.
Okay.
I'm looking you in the camera. I'm gonna tell you, I don't tolerate it. If you want to bring your bacon and eggs to my cookout, I'm not cooking them on my griddle. Because here's what happens. If you get sick, was it my dirty griddle or was it your bacon and eggs? And we're in a pissing war about it. So
I relate so much to his analogies.
I ain't doing that. You know, if you want a steak cooked at a steakhouse and you got this really good steak, I don't know a good steakhouse is going to say, yeah, we'll whip that up on our grill and cook it for you. And you've seen my videos. I'll do used engines. I try to avoid it, but I understand budgets. An engine, I can run it on my sim test machine. And then I can do a running compression test on it. I can check the oil pressure at 500 RPM, and I can vacuum check the cooling system. Come in close. I do not warranty. I do not warranty that engine. I can give you some peace of mind.
The thing, like you said, they don't know anything about it. Who's maintained it? Were the oil changes done at 20,000 miles or at 5,000
Yeah,
miles?
the maintenance on it, you got no record of it.
Nothing.
So this is exactly what we do. That is an option for a customer. I have a budget, I want people to work within my budget if I have a budget on something. So we will very clearly explain to them, we can run the tests on it. Here's the cost of the engine, here's the cost of the test. But the test still doesn't tell me that I can give you a warranty. The salvage yard will give you most of the time a 90-day part-only warranty, which means, okay, I'm gonna take that engine, I'm gonna test it, say it's okay, I'm gonna put it in the truck, and then we're gonna get it up and running, and you got a 90-day part-only warranty on it. But let's say it's got an oil leak coming out of the rear main seal, or the head gasket starts to seep, or
Sets a check engine light.
Sets a check engine light,
Smokes
or whatever. It's like, that's not part of the warranty.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to replace a rear main seal or something like that.
And then
it's a can of worms.
Then who looks bad? Even though it's not our part, but it's hard to explain to the customer, and even if you properly educate them, if they've got an issue with an engine that they just spent $10,000 or give or take dollars, and there's an issue with it, even though you may have had a clear explanation, the shop is the one that looks bad, which is part of our problem with doing a used engine.
We will have them initial a line on the thing that says customer understands, 90-day part-only warranty, no labor's involved. The parts yard will send, I said, yes, they've got another engine, they'll send me another engine, but we got labor to get it in and out. And last time I checked, your engine wasn't installed with Velcro. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You can have somebody sign with blood and they still don't want to pay you to put another in. They're like, well, you got to help me out. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tell us a little about it, Ron. Come on over, because you just barely went through this.
Tell me what happened.
So I'm building a classic Ford truck. I wanted a new Coyote and a 6-speed to put in it.
Way to go, dude.
And so I found
Pound
a 22,
that.
Yeah, so I found a 22 Mustang 5.0 with the MT82, and it only had 8,000 miles on it. And
You'd feel pretty safe with that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was a reasonably good deal. And got it off the truck, unwrapped it, made sure everything was good. When I went to go swap the exhaust manifolds out for headers, for tight fit headers, the block was cracked where the car had been hitting the side.
And that
And
happened.
you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it until you pulled. As soon as I pulled that off, it's like, oh man. That's
So the guy that sold you the motor made it right.
yeah. I messaged him and he called me back within an hour. And so I think it was 5 days later, I had a new motor.
Now see, that's different. If you sell a used product and it has a flaw like that, they should warranty that.
Right.
They should warranty that. So good for him. But, okay, the guy didn't do one oil change. I can live with that. Maybe he just beat the shit out of that thing the first 8,000 miles and wrapped it around a tree. But even if you put that motor in with 8,000 miles and there's an issue with it, I didn't build it. I can't warranty something that I'm not responsible for.
Okay, so what I'm hearing right now is no, let's not motor swap this, but yes, let's have a look at that motor, see whatever needs to be done to get that going. Carburetor for sure, something has to happen
motor
with the
that is
carburetor.
currently in it.
Motor that's currently in it.
Before we do anything with anything,
Yeah.
condition, cause, correction, confirm. Condition looks a little rough. Okay. Cause, We're gonna get up and running, and in order to do that, I'm gonna run a compression test on it. You know, I'll start the engine up and listen to it.
Yeah.
Pop the distributor cap off, I'll check my timing chain stretch, rock it back and forth. The rotor will tell me how much stretch I got in the timing chain, and if it's hitting on all the cylinders and not misfiring and it's not smoking like out the tailpipe, I probably won't want to do a compression test unless the customer really wants that peace of mind. You know, it'll need a carburetor, you know, maybe some new ignition components, wires, cap rotor. It's a good motor, you know, but I know nothing about it. That's what I would recommend. This is how I fix cars.
Yep.
And I tell all my mechanics to fix cars like this. Fix the car like you're fixing it for your mother. And what that means is you would not sell your mother something she didn't need just to get money out of her, you know? But you would fix her car so well that you wouldn't want her driving someplace and being stuck in a dark road.
You don't have to worry about her getting stranded.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the best explanation I can tell you on what a mechanic should do on every car he works on. Fix that car like you're working for your mother. Don't overlook things that are needed, but don't sell things that aren't.
Yep.
Love you, Mom.
Love you too, Mom.
Okay.
All right. No, thank you so much. Really. Thank you for...
Look at the size of this guy's hand.
I know.
I can almost touch my fingers around it.
All right.